everyone, it's Kathy Champion and I'm your independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in North Carolina, and welcome to my channel. If you are new, please hit that subscribe button, and if you ring the bell right beside subscribe, you can decide there how you want to be notified when a video goes up so that you don't miss anything. If you like my channel, please give me a thumbs up or hit that like button and share this on your social media, whether it's Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook. All the exposure that I get helps me grow my channel and helps me to bring you more quality videos. Thank you so much for watching, and all my tried and true faithful friends. I love you very much, and thank you also for tuning in. This is October's host code. Now, come November 1st, we will have a new one, but this one is still valid through the end of October. So if you place a $50 order or more during the month of October and you enter this code, I will be able to send you a free gift. And if you would rather opt for a catalog versus a free gift, just shoot me an email and let me know that, and I will send you a catalog instead. It does usually cost about anywhere from $5 to $8. The catalogs cost me, plus the shipping is pretty intense because I can't use media mail on a catalog. So if you would do that, I would certainly appreciate it, and hopefully I can get a catalog in your hands. Now, if you want a catalog and you are a regular customer of mine, please shoot me an email and I will be more than glad to send you one. So just a little bit of house cleaning here before we get started on our project. So with all that being said, one reminder, the $50 has to be before tax and shipping. It has to be the retail amount of your purchase. So if you bought the Stamparatus for $49.99, you're still a penny short, and I know that sounds very petty, but I have to have a rule and I have to kind of stick by it. So you would need to go in and get at least a pack of dimensionals or something that is very cheap. Sometimes you can go into the clearance section and you can find something very cheap in there that will bring your total up over the $50. So, okay, with all that being said, let's go ahead and get started on today's project. I wanted to do this little winter card. It's supposed to get cold here after today. We've got the hurricane coming through. Well, it's not a hurricane anymore. It is Tropical Storm Zeta. And this is the first time, to my recollection, that I can remember us going through the Greek alphabet. Now, they said it has been done before, but I don't know that I remember. I thought I'd zoom you in a little bit so you can better see what we're doing. But anyway, with all that being said, I want to show you the stamps and the dies that I want to work with today, and then I'm going to show you the paper that I have chosen. This little stamp set right here is called Warm and Toasty, and it is absolutely adorable. You've got all these cute little critters. There's a little sleigh full of bunnies, and they're singing up a storm. They got their little song book and little notes coming out of their mouths, and I think it's precious. You got the two little mice that are holding the trimming for the tree. How stinking cute is that? This cute little bear, it's like a little baby bear that's sitting. He is super adorable. The little reindeer, and he is so cute. And then we got the big old polar bear who's ice skating. I think this is just adorable. You've also got some snowflakes. Warm and Toasty wishes to you. Here's to a cool Yule, sharing Christmas cheer, just for you. The sentiments are lacking a little bit for my taste, but I still think they're very cute. So here is the stamp set, and this is the cling stamps, and I love the red rubber because you always get a beautiful image. Now, I took the liberty of stamping a lot of these out prior to the show, or prior to me recording, so that I could show you. So you're going to need a scrap piece of paper, and a stamp block, and you're also going to need your Memento Tuxedo Black ink, because we're going to color these with a Stampin' Blends. And as many of you know, our Stampin' Blends are our alcohol markers. So you're going to need a nice heavy cardstock, and I will tell you the Whisper White Thick is the way to go, because it takes the ink so well and it holds up very well to your alcohol markers. So I'm making sure that I got my little reindeer well inked, and I'm going to turn my paper this way, and I'm going to stamp him down about here. And I'm going to press and try to make sure I get a really good impression. Very, very cute. Now, I'm not going to go through and stamp all of the ones that I did. I think that would kind of be an overkill. I am going to color this one just to kind of give you an idea of how these Stampin' Blend markers work, because they are totally amazing. So let's cover up our ink. Oh, and I also want to show you the other set called Freezin Fun, and this is also the cling stamps, which is the red rubber on the back. And look at this set. You have two trees, two sizes of trees. You have this little ice block and another little ice block. You have this little penguin sitting down on his hiney. You got the little bunny rabbit on his skis, and the otter on his belly. And how cute is he going to look perched on that piece of ice? And we're going to stamp that behind him so it looks like he's really going down the hill. And we might use this in a couple of places here. I also need to stamp another tree, so I'm going to go ahead and get the little tree. I might do one more big tree as well. I don't think I got as many of the trees as I would have. But you have the dies as well. Here's your dies. And the dies are called Freezin Friends dies. And look at these. You have the one for the large Christmas tree, the one for the small one, the otter, the snowballs that are stacked up so neatly, the buttons or snowballs, whichever you want to use it for. And then you have these two pieces of ice, and you've got this little heart. So I mean, how much cuter could a set get? There's your little penguin. It is absolutely stinking adorable. So let's go ahead, and I want to stamp these two Christmas trees. I might stamp each one of them a couple of times. You know, if you don't use them, you can always stash them, and more than likely with the making of our Christmas cards, we will find more uses for these trees. So cute. I'm going to go ahead and do one more of the big one. And then let's clean this, and we are going to pick up the smaller tree. And let's get him nice and straight. And we're going to ink him up. Alright, we have those trees done, and I'm going to show you just a little bit of how I colored these, and then we're going to move on, because I don't want to spend a lot of time just coloring. I think most of us can color, so I want to create the card. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab two of my markers, and these are called Soft Suede, and they are a beautiful sort of a beigey brown. I'm going to start with the light Soft Suede first, and I'm going to use my brush tip. And y'all know the only time I put on my little bifocals is when I am coloring, because I like to make sure that I can stay in my lines. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come up, and this is such a rich color. I want to trace around his face and get some color. Now, isn't that pretty? But what you want to do is let this alcohol marker dry. And because it's alcohol, it's going to evaporate pretty quickly. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come down and I'm going to start working on his legs. And make a mental note of where you're working at, because you're going to want to go back over this. But you don't want to do it too soon because you want to make sure the ink is dry. And like I said, with this being alcohol, it doesn't take it as long as it would if you were using water-based markers like Tombow or the Stampin'. Isn't he cute? Alright, so then we're going to go across the back. I love the soft suede in this, the light soft suede. It is gorgeous. Alright, all we got left to do is his ears and his tail. Now, I don't claim to be a colorist or any type of artist. I just love to doodle. So that is basically what we're doing. We're doodling. Now I'm just going to do like that and leave the rest of it. And I'm going to come in now with the darker, and all I want to do with the dark is shade. I want to shade around his face. Just like that, and then we're going to come up under the bow. And I am going to use the real red and the dark for my bow, because I want his bow to really pop. I changed my mind. I am going to use the red, but I'm going in with the light first, and I'll tell you why. I really want to put some depth of color on here, and I want the inside of that bow Now we're going to do these streamers. I think once you put his bow on, it really brings him to life. But we're going to use a soft black, and we're going to do his feet and his antlers. And that's when I see him come to life, even though he's got his eyes closed. I bet he's wanting a nap. Or maybe that's hopeful thinking on my part, because I need a nap. Okay, I did go out of the line right there a little bit, so I'm going to take my color lifter, and I am going to try to push this back in. Now, if you noticed, it did lift the color off of his face as well, but that's okay. That is all right, because we can go back and lay down a little bit more color. And we're going to blend that out anyway. So I'm going in with the light. And what I want to do is I just want to pull the color down and up. Now I'm just going to use circular motions to put a little bit of dimension right in here. And look how stinking cute this is turning out to be. Now I'm going to go back in with the dark. Just like that. And then I'm going to grab that soft black. And this is the light basic black. And what I want to do is I want to make his hooves this lighter shade of black. And then we're going to go up and we're going to do his antlers in the same color. Now I'm going to come back in with the soft, the light soft suede. And I just want to pull a little bit of color into his ears. And then we're going to grab that color lifter again, because if you look closely, this brown has bled outside the line. Alright, we got our little reindeer done. So doesn't he look cute? And once we cut him out, it's going to be adorable. So I'm going to do the trees real quick. And with the trees, I'm going to use my shaded spruce, both light and dark. And I am going to grab this one called Seaside Spray. The Seaside Spray, let's say that 10 times fast. This one has a tendency to look more like snow. And I will show you my bear that I did. And I used that color around the edges of him. And I thought he turned out perfect. Now this one I did have to fussy cut. Because it came from the stamp set called Warm and Toasty, and this one does not have dies. So there are times that you will have to fussy cut, and don't be intimidated. You know, just go for it. So I'm going to go ahead and do one of these small, oops, maybe I do want the bullet tip. And what I'm doing is I'm looking for where the tree is versus the snow. And I'm going to do the same thing for the rest of these. I'm just going to color them. And I might even come back with a different color on a couple of them. Let's see if I get a little bit more control by using the brush tip. That is what I'm used to coloring with. Alright, we have all of that on. Well, I gotta do these too, so let's go ahead and do these while we're at it. Said I wanted to do some a little bit different and then I didn't. Do y'all ever do that? Of course, with me it's maybe a little bit different because I am recording. So I have to keep in mind that I'm talking to you and not myself. So alrighty, let's go down here, and I'm going to switch colors after this. I want that one tree to be a different shade. So I am going to put this one up because I think I'm done with it. But I want to pull out the old olive. And I'm going to go in with the dark. And I'm going to just come around. And you see what I did? I put my pen right down into where my white's going to go. So let's try our color lifter again. And let's see if we can and we might have to scratch that tree if we cannot salvage it. But I want to show you how I take this, the pool party, the light seaside spray, and we're going to go in and put a little bit of snow. And all I'm doing is just putting some of this blue right here. And I'm going to do the same thing on this big tree. Alright, that gives the effect and the look that it has snowed on the caps of these trees. And this one I think I'm going to scratch because I don't like the way it's turned out. It's kind of smudged and ugly. And as you can see, your alcohol markers will bleed through. So you always want to make sure you have a protective surface. And I have my grid paper here. And once I'm finished, I can tear this off and have a clean piece. And it wouldn't hurt if you have an extra piece of grid paper to put down when you're working with your alcohol markers. So I need to go ahead and trim this one out. So I am going to grab my little paper snips because I do not have a die for him. And now I'm going to lay this one over on my Stampin' Cut and Emboss. And let's grab the die for the Christmas tree. We have the big Christmas tree and the small one. So I'm going to go ahead and cut out I'm going to try to cut 2 of these at one time, and I'm going to use, let me show you how I'm doing this. I am going to use some of these little tags. These are little post-it flag tags. They work great with your stamping tool. So I suggest you get a box of these, and I'll show you how they come. They come in a little package like this, and you just pull these out as you need to use them. They work great. But I already have some pulled off that haven't lost their sticky yet. So these 2 are ready to go through, so we're going to go ahead and push these through. My power just went out, so I'm going to have to stop right here, and I'll come back and film. We are experiencing the hurricane Zeta, and they said it was a chance of some power outages, and it did, so I will be back. Okay everybody, I am back and I got power back, thank goodness. It's been on for about 20 minutes now, and so I'm back here in my craft room, and I went ahead and got these cut out, and I went ahead and fussy cut my little reindeer. And I'm going to show you how you can lighten up her face, and I say her because she's so stinking cute. I figured it's got to be a little girl, and I want a little circle of lightness right here in her face. So I'm just going to use my color lifter and see how that will color lift right there. And if you get too much, you can go back in with a little bit of the brown, but I think I like this. And maybe a little bit right here. I think it just really can make your, and if you pick up any of the brown, you can just very simply wipe this. And what this is, it is alcohol, but it's like clear. So it makes it so that you can move this alcohol that you put down. Now say you took too much out, which I feel like I did. So I'm just going to come back with my light, and I'm just going to put a little bit more around here. I don't want to go too heavy because I like the lightness, but it did get a little bit too light to suit me. And we're going to let that dry a little bit, and I think that's going to be about perfect. Alright. In the scheme of everything, I had cut out, I actually think I like this one better than I do this one because I did more detail in cutting out in between here, and I love that look. We could trim this one up and use it, and who knows, I might use them both. But anyway, I'm going to show you what we need now. I've got a whole bunch of different pieces done over here, and I'll pull them out in just a minute, but I want to show you mine. Okay everybody, we're going to try this again. As you know, as I told you earlier in the video, I lost power when I started this yesterday, and that was Thursday, October the 29th, and I tried to video afterwards, but I just didn't have my mojo. So what I'm going to do is kind of go back over where we're at, and I'm going to go over our pieces again. Our card base is a 7x9 scored at 3.5, so it's going to be a slimline card. My first mat I made out of Night of Navy, and this mat is 8.5 by 3 1/4, and it's going to mat on just like that. And I had originally thought I was going to use this Snowflake paper, but I changed my mind. I think I like this piece of kind of a splattered blue. I think it's going to go much better with our little banks. And what I want to do is I want to take this one, and let's see, this one's going to go like this, and I'm going to do it about halfway up, like so. And I'm going to glue this one flat down, and then this one I'm going to pop up on some dimensionals just to give us a little more interest, because flat down, that can be boring. So this is what we're going to do. So before we get started, I'm going to go ahead and build our snowbanks onto this mat. I like to build my card piece by piece and then glue it all together, so that if we do make a boo-boo, we've only messed up one portion of the card rather than the entire thing. I hope that makes sense. I so promise we are going to get this card done if it kills me, and at this point I think it just might. I am so sorry for all of my interruptions. It has been like this for the past 2 days, and I do apologize deeply to each of you. I want to use some tape that I have, because I want to run a piece of foam tape across here, and I cannot locate, Stampin' Up! Does carry a foam tape, and I cannot locate mine right this minute, so I'm going to use what I got, and I got a roll of this. It's contraband, so forgive me. I'm not supposed to use anything that's not Stampin' Up!, but hey, sometimes drastic times call for drastic measures, and this is one of them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this piece off. About like this. And all I want to do is I want to put this piece down in the middle. I think that's what I want to do. Or maybe this piece and then this piece. No, I want this one in the middle. So this one's going down first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this piece of tape from one end of this to the other. And I didn't cut it quite long enough, but that's okay. We can cut a little piece more. And we'll just piece this in like so. Just like that. And I'm going to really burnish it down good so that we get a good adhesion. I'm going to grab my Take Your Pick tool because I love this to lift up any of my adhesive backings. Works really well. And now I'm going to take all of these pieces and lay them over to the side because we're going to be working just with this one piece. So I want to get this nice and straight. Like that. And I'm going to use my grid paper to make sure that I'm putting this down nice and even. Just like so. And now this piece I want to put 2 pieces of tape on because I want it to come up a little bit higher. And let's see, this one we're going to need to cut the tape just a little bit. So I'm going to cut a long piece and we are going to run it from this side along here, and you can see when we get about here we're going to need to cut this piece down. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut it down a little bit right here and then cut that off, and I'm just going to stick that little piece back onto my spool. And now you can see that we will have this piece that will sit, and I don't think I'm going to need to do 2. Yeah, I am. I'm going to do one more. So I'm going to use this piece right here. And I'm going to grab another piece that's going to be about the same length as that. Just like so. Now what we want to do is we want to pull the backing off before we adhere these down because it won't stick to itself, otherwise it wouldn't come off the roll. So now I am going to very strategically lay this piece on top of this. This is just going to give this piece an extra dimension, and I'm going to link the Stampin' Up double-sided tape in my description. If you have other double-sided foam tape like this, you can use it, no biggie. Now I am going to try to trim this piece off at an angle, just like that. And then I'm going to lay this piece down right about here. And I'm going to trim that little teeny piece off that's hanging over. Otherwise we'd have unevenness on our tape. So remember, anytime that you're using two-sided tape and you are bulking it up with double, make sure your double goes all the way across your entire area that you want it to, just to make sure everything is cohesive. Now what I want to do is I want to put this down even, and I'm using my finger to guide it, just like that. Now this is going to give us a nice even area to be able to put all of our little goodies. So this little tree, I want it to tuck right here. So we only need adhesive right there on that end. So I am going to grab my Tombow, and I'm just going to put a tiny bit of adhesive right there. So a little bit of Tombow right there on that end. And I'm going to sit that tree down right there. And see, this is going to give us lots of dimension. Now I want my little ice piece and my otter, I want him to look like he is floating across this hill. So we are going to put him right about here, and we are going to pop him up. I don't even think he needs to be popped up. I think we can just glue this flat down. So we've already got a lot of dimension on here. So I'm going to put this right there. So stinking cute. Look at that little otter on that piece of ice. I love him. I think he is adorable. And I did do all of I colored all of these with the Stampin' Blend markers. They are super fantastic markers. So if you have not invested in some alcohol markers, I would highly suggest the I'm going to put one tree right there. I'm going to try to see if I can get these put down where I want them. I think I want this little dude to go right here, the little basket or the little sleigh of bunnies. Maybe these little snowflakes or snowballs, because he's going to go downhill and knock those over. So let's do another tree, maybe up here. And maybe right here. I really want another tree. Let's see if I have any more trees. I do. I want a tree right here. I did a whole bunch of little pieces, and let me show you. I colored bukus of these because I wasn't sure how many I was going to need and what I wanted to use where. But look at this. We could even do another otter. I don't think so. I want a bear and a deer for inside, so I'm going to lay those over. I think this is good. These little, let's see. I think these little dudes are going to be right there because they're getting ready to decorate the tree. And he's going downhill, so we're going to slant him like that. How stinking cute is this card? I am loving it. Let's see, maybe like this. Because I have a sentiment that I want to put right here. Warm and toasty wishes to you. And I wanted this to go kind of in the middle. We could make those go up. And this come here. We could do this tree up a little bit higher and do our, I think that'll work. Okay, and if we have to, we can bump this up. So this is the way I want my card to lay out. So I am going to go ahead and glue down my pieces. So this little tree is just going to get a little bit of glue right here. And he's going to go all the way out to the edge and up like that. And then we're going to have our merry little mices. They look very merry, don't they? And I'm just going to put a little Tombow across the bottom there. And we're going to stick them down right here because they're going to be decorating that tree. Isn't that cute? And the same with these. These are going to be kind of downhill because our little otter is going to knock over these little snowballs. He's doing ice crushing bowling. So cute. Now I'm going to put glue all over the back of that tree because I want this tree to be right about here. And then this tree, I think I want this tree to be maybe tucked down just a hair. And we are going to take these up a little bit higher than I originally thought. So I'm just going to put glue along the bottom of this because I want these to set up just a hair like that. A hair. Pardon my pun. That was not intentional, and I want him to look like he is going downhill, just like that. So we're only going to put it on his skis and the bottom of his body. And look at that. How precious. And we have plenty of room. Let's move him over just a hair. There we go with my hair again. Now I want to put this on here, but you know what? Since I'm using my liquid glue, I'm just going to carry through. Just be careful with your liquid glue not to be too rambunctious with it. So I am going to glue that down, and so you get a little wiggle room so you can get that nice and even. Oops, got glue on it. And if you wanted to pop that up, you could definitely pop it up to give it a little bit more dimensions, and I think that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to use my Stampin' Dimensionals, and I am going to pop this up. Now this card might be bulky in an envelope, but I think this card really makes a statement. So you can, this would be one of those fussy cards that you would make for someone special. I think one of my grandchildren would love this card. So I'm going to bring that down even to the bottom. And I'm going to stick that down right there. Now we are ready to put this on our mat. Just like that. And I think I'm going to use liquid glue again, and I'll tell you why. Because I've already built everything up here, and it's going to be very hard for me to get glue or, oops, look what I just did. It's okay. It's going to be very hard to get glue or Stampin' Seal on the back of this because it is already so bumpy with all the little pretties that I put on it. So we're going to drop that down right about there, giving ourselves that cute little border. And now I'm just going to mash everything down. But I do want him to look like he is up in the air. And my little otter, you can actually curl these a little bit to give yourself the dimension. Isn't that gorgeous? I love the play on this card. So now we're ready, and I think we can use some of our other stuff to put this down on the inside of our card. So I am going to use the Stampin' Seal Plus. Let's see if it's going to work for me. And I don't know that it is because you know what? I'm going to continue with my glue, and I'll tell you why. I'm still not working with an even surface. So, and you can see I had written measurements on the bottom of this. And I usually do that for y'all's benefits when I'm giving you the dimensions of these cards, but I also wrote everything down over here on my mat. Not that you can see them, but remember that all of these measurements and everything that I used will be in the description below, as well as on my blog post, and I will link everything below so that you can get all the information that you need to create this beautiful little slimline card. Oh, I love it! Look how stinking adorable that is. That card is pretty. I was so afraid that this was not going to come together for me like I wanted, but after I got everything together and I changed my mind on my background here with the snow, I really love the way this came together. Now I'm going to put a piece of that Night of Navy inside for my mat, and I have a piece right here, and I need to cut this down. Let's see, this is 3.5, so 3 1/4 by 8 3/4. 3 1/4 by 8 3/4. So 3 1/4. Let's do it this way first. 8 3/4. Would put it right there. And then we'll do it this way at 3 1/4. Because we're going to have some play in here as well. Sorry about that. I really need to shut my phone completely down when I'm doing videos, but I don't, and I do apologize. Okay, I want Mr. Snowman right here, and I think I want our reindeer. I'm going to wait until I put down my white. I want him to be on that blue, so I am going to glue him directly down, but I'm not going to glue his scarf because I want that scarf to look like it's got some movement. And I want him to look like he is just skating up a storm and having the best old time. But I'm going to use the rectangular stitch dies, and this is really a nice set of rectangles because you get so many different sizes. So let's get these out of here so we can decide which ones we're going to use. And I think I'm going to use, let's see. I think that one will work. I need to decide what sentiment I want to put on the inside of my card, so I'm going to go back and look at my stamp sets that I used. And that was these two stamp sets, Freezin Fun and Warm and Toasty. And Sharing Christmas Cheer. I love the Sharing Christmas Cheer from the Warm and Toasty. So I think, and it will match the font on the front. So I think I'm going to use that one. And I do believe that I need to turn the volume down on my phone because it is super loud. I must have turned it up for some reason. There we go. Alright, let's see. Sharing Christmas Cheer. I think that's what I want, and I want to put it right over in one corner. So let's get a piece of Whisper White. I'm going to look in my scrap bin to see if I have a piece. You know, you always got some white in your scrap bin, so there we go. And I am going to run this through my die. And that won't take us but a second because I already have everything set up over here. My die machine sits here to my right, and it makes it so simple when I'm wanting to cut a die that I can just shoot it right through and have that cut lickety-split, just like so. And it looks like I got something on that, but I don't think I did. Oh, that's going to look pretty there. So we're going to move him over just a little bit like that. Maybe we'll put Sharing, no, we're going to put this right here. And I want this to sit right there. Because what I am intending to happen here is I want to carry the theme of the fun that's on the front of this card all the way through to the inside. So maybe this will go right here. Alright, let's go ahead and stamp this down, and I'm going to stamp it in that Night of Navy. So let's pull our Night of Navy, and this is a very, very dark blue ink, and I'm going to give you a suggestion. If you don't want it as dark as it is, then what I would do is I would stamp off, and I've got some grid paper right here that I have messed up. So I'm going to use it. I'm going to ink it up and stamp off and then stamp again. Not quite as dark as I wanted it. Stamp and then stamp. I think I want it full on dark. I like the looks of it better. So let's put it in the ink, and you only need to tap a couple of times because you can get quite a bit of ink on the edges of your stamp. So I'm going to wipe that off, making sure I don't smudge my piece. I'm actually even going to bring out my Stampin' scrub because I did get ink. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. And this will happen. If you look and see how I got ink around the edges there, when you press that down, if you happen to rock to one side or the other, you will so mess up your image. So this one's also not even, so I'm going to put it here on my grid paper, and I'm going to try to pick it up nice and straight. That will ensure me getting a good, now I'm going to tap lightly and check it. And check it again. That looks really good. And I want to stamp this about here. Sharing Christmas cheer. I like that. And the one other thing that I wanted to use was this stamp right here. And this looks like Blustery Wind. And we are going to stamp that right there. And we are going to use the same ink, but we are going to, I'm going to clean that stamp off real quick. We are going to stamp this off definitely because I want it to be a light blue. And then stamp. Very good. And do I want it going this way as well? Let's try it. Oh, I done made a mess. So easy to do with the dark inks. So I caution you, anytime that you're using the darker inks, be extremely careful. That looks cute, just like that. Alright, I'm going to set that over there. I'm going to close up this extra juicy ink pad and get it back where it belongs, and then we are going to get back over here and work on our card. Okay, so I want this to go about here, and then I want to put him kind of on and off. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put glue on his hindquarters right here and stick him about here. Just like that. And then I'm going to glue the entire thing right here, just like that. So let's go ahead, and I think for this one we can use our Stampin' Seal. So I am going to put a piece here. Well, maybe. There we go. I'm going to put a little piece on him, right there. And across the bottom. And this is ready to go down right about here. And you can see this gives you plenty of room to sign your card. And now we are going to put this in here. So since I didn't do any dimensionals, I'm going to use the Stampin' Seal Plus. And I'm just going to do little pieces of it along the bottom. Maybe a couple on the side, or maybe one, oops. One long piece, and then we're going to do our little pieces again. This is a very strong adhesive, so it doesn't take much of it to hold your card in place. Now, getting this centered, I'm going to work from the side to the side, and I am going to give myself that 1/4 inch or 1/8 of an inch. All the way around, just like that, and press it down. Voila! This card is finally done. This card, from my lights going out to phone call after phone call to just losing my mojo yesterday. Oh my goodness, this is a busy card, but it is so stinking cute. Could you imagine a grandchild getting this? Oh, I think I know who's going to get this card. It is so stinking cute, and I think any grandchild, but either male or female, would love this card. It is so cute. So much going on, but oh my goodness. So yeah, this one will definitely be signed Grandma. So if you have grandkids that you would love to make a card like this for, check out my blog, check out the description below. Everything will be listed, everything that I used, all of the markers, how I colored this. You can look in the video, you can check out wherever and however you need to see how you can make this card yourself. It turned out so stinking cute. I love it. The only thing that I didn't do that I meant to do, I was going to stamp some snowflakes on this blue. But I'm kind of glad I didn't do that because I think it's got enough going on. I think it's got plenty going on that we really didn't need the snowflakes. So these little critters are having a wonderful time playing out in the snow, and it is so cute. And even our little bear, he is so stinking cute. Look at that bear. And the little deer, oh my goodness. Love it, love it, love it. So anyway, if you enjoyed this card, give me a thumbs up. Share this video with your friends, and that will help me grow my channel. This being my Stamping Up channel, it is growing a little slower than my other channel was, so I would appreciate all of the shares and the likes and all of the publicity that I can get to help me grow. So thank y'all so much for tuning in. If you are a subscriber and you already watch me on a regular basis, I love you so much, and I thank you. I appreciate you. This is not lip service. This is coming from the depths of my heart. You mean so much to me. If this is your first time visiting my channel, please excuse all the hiccups that have taken place throughout this video. Hopefully I'll be able to cut quite a bit out when I do my editing, but thank you for following through and watching to the end. And if you are one of those people that followed me all the way through and watched this to the end, please think about subscribing to my channel. Every video is not as crazy as this one, and every card's not as mixed up as this. I did recently, and this is only for my people that might just be tuning in, I made this beautiful Christmas card using the paper pumpkin, and I'm going to be making some more cards from that paper pumpkin kit, so please stay tuned for that. We are ramping up now that we're going into November. Today is October the 30th, 2020, and I don't know about y'all, but I am ready to say bye-bye, bye-bye, 2020. This has been a year to go down in the history books for sure. So I hope that you would subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and as I always say in closing, let everything that you do and say bring glory to our Father in heaven. He is so worthy. He is worthy of our praise, our honor, and our lives. So until we craft again, God bless and keep you, and happy crafting. Bye-bye, everybody.